This episode is brought to you by Stouffer's. Here comes three-time juggling champion Natalia Rogers. She's juggling law school, her TA job. Oh, narrowly catches the laundry. What's that fourth ball? Parents unexpectedly showed up at dinner time? Is that too much for Natalia? Not with Stouffer's Chicken Alfredo and its mouth-watering mix of Asiago, Romano, and Parmesan. When you're juggling four things at once and the clock strikes dinner, think Stouffer's.
Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
My name is Ryan Pack.
And I'm Nicole Barlow.
This is Soundtrack Your Life, where we speak with the guests about a soundtrack that is important to them. Returning today is our friend Scott Interrante, host This is the Greatest Song That I've Ever Heard in My Entire Life. And since the last time we had Scott on the podcast, he's launched a new podcast called Big White Elephants.
Uh-oh.
Tell us about it, Scott.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me back. I'm very excited. This is I love this movie so much. But yeah, Big White Elephants, I started doing with my friend Grace. We cover movie musicals. The title is an allusion to a Rob Marshall quote. He's the director of Chicago. And he was talking about the form of movie musicals and how, when they're done really well, it's like the best thing ever. But a lot of times people just don't know how to shoot the musical numbers or don't know how to put it all together, and everything feels clunky and bad and like a big white elephant. And so we go through and we watch all different kinds of movie musicals and talk about whether they're great or whether they fall apart and feel like big white elephants. So it's been a lot of fun. It's a weekly, so it's like every week, staying in that mode of watching movie musicals. And we're doing some new stuff. I think this is coming out in February, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so we're doing a whole month dedicated to Oscar winners this month, and then we'll do some of the preview of the Oscars to come this year, which I think, Ryan, you might be on one of those.
Yeah.
Talking about an exciting movie that will hopefully be winning Oscars. And yeah, so we do all different kinds of stuff. Check us out, Big White Elephants.
Yeah, it's very fun. I've listened to many episodes.
Thanks.
I don't know Grace personally, but she has a very soothing voice.
Oh yeah, she really does. Yeah.
So it's great, and obviously the more Scott, the better.
That's what I always say. I don't know if everyone agrees, but.
So today, this is kind of our Valentine's Day episode, and because Scott, you're on this episode, I would like to humble brag about my Valentine's Day plans.
Please.
So a couple months ago, my wife bought some tickets and said, "Hey, I got Backstreet Boys tickets for the Sphere." And I was like, cool, girls' weekend trip, that's great for you. And she goes, "No, you're going." And I said, "Oh, okay." So I will be checking out the Sphere for the first time in February for my wife's birthday / Valentine's Day. And I hear the Backstreet Boys at the Sphere are quite an event.
That sounds cool. I have never even been to Vegas. I would love to go to the Sphere. It seems like a crazy time. I do have a sort of friend acquaintance whose, I think, boyfriend worked on the Backstreet Boys in the Sphere show, the visual aspects of it. So that seems very cool.
Are you going to dress in all white, though?
I plan on dressing in all white. I told my wife that I'd like to go to Friar Tuck's and get a white tuxedo. Friar Tuck's is a place that I went to many times in high school for school dances.
Oh, yeah. Very Southern California core, the Friar Tuck's.
Yeah. My wife was like, "Don't you mean Men's Warehouse?" And I said, "No, Friar Tuck's."
No, it's specifically Friar Tuck's. and you go in and they ask you, what do you want? And you say, I want it that way.
Wow. Very good.
Tell me
Very
why.
good. Now, is it a play on words? Like, is it spelled TUX?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
That's amazing. Wow. Yeah, we do not have that
You don't have any
establishment over here.
pun-based suit rental
Oh,
companies?
I'm sure we
Scott,
do,
on
but
the-
yeah, I can't. Wow, that's very good.
Yeah, so this will be the first time I will go to Friar
Wait,
Tuck
hold
since
on. I'm sorry. This is not a bit. I think I'm also just for the first time putting together that Men's Warehouse is also a play on words.
Yeah,
Yes.
because
Is it
you wear
WEAR?
it. Yeah, you wear it. Yes.
This is crazy. I am okay.
Right?
Wow.
Realizations are happening.
We learned so much on this podcast together.
We really do.
I wasn't gonna put you on the spot and ask about your plans, so I just thought I would share my plans.
I'll be honest. We don't have plans yet. We'll have to do. I mean, I don't know. We'll do something cool. Now I'm saying that, so we have to. It's on record, so I have to think of something cool.
That's true.
We're just going to go to Backstreet Boys with you. I hope that's okay.
I mean, as long as you wear all white, because it is a whiteout.
Wow.
Yeah, my friend's wife has gone, and she's like, "Oh, does your wife want to borrow what I wore? Because I'm never gonna wear this white outfit again." And my wife was like, "She and I are completely like different body types. I don't know how that's gonna work."
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like, if we're gonna do this, like, let's do it right. Let's get all fancy. Let's take really cheesy prom pictures. Let's do all of it.
Very exciting.
Well, let's talk about our really fucked up Valentine's Day episode movie.
Yeah,
I mean, this movie really is about love.
it is.
Of tennis?
I
Tennis
don't
is a
know.
relationship.
You know,
That
we'll
is a
get there.
quote from
We'll
the
get
movie.
there
We gotta
because
untangle.
it's deep.
So Scott has selected the soundtrack to Luca Guadagnino's 2024 film Challengers.
I think you said it perfectly.
Thank you. So Scott, why have you selected Challengers today?
This is truly one of my favorite films of all time. Actually, like it's very new still. So it feels weird to say that, like having only come out at this point less than 2 years ago. But when I rewatched it for this podcast, this is my 7th time seeing it.
Wow.
It's just really great. And of course the soundtrack, I know oftentimes on this podcast you're sort of highlighting things that are more soundtrack, like song soundtrack based, and this movie is really not. I think outside of like the Blood Orange song and Hot in Here, I don't think there's really a lot of other like needle drops that even happen in this. But the score is so integral to the vibe of the movie and became its own sort of thing. Like it was very memed and TikToked, and like the score to Challengers has its own life. So I figured it would make sense. And yeah, I just love talking about this movie. I think it's so fun. I think honestly, every time I watch it, I like it even more, which seems crazy. But I think the script is so thorny and juicy and so well written, and the direction is truly bonkers. He's doing so many crazy things in this movie, and everyone's so hot, and so I'm excited to get into it. But is this a first time watch for both of you, or
It is
or
a
no?
first time watch. You know what's really strange is, as you pointed out, this soundtrack sort of has its own fan base. And so
Mhm.
I've listened to this soundtrack many times
Oh,
through out of
wow.
context, which seems like a shame now that I've seen the film. Having it in context has completely redrawn my relationship
Yeah.
to this score. Also to churros.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe we actually shouted out one of the songs from the soundtrack on our like best of 2024 list.
Mm.
The end credits song with
Yeah.
which sounds like a Nine Inch Nails song, but actually Luca actually helped write the lyrics.
Very interesting.
Yeah, Luca's direction to Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross was essentially, I have a very sexy movie and I want you to, and this is, documented, right? I have a very sexy movie. I would like you to be involved. I want it to sound like 90s Berlin techno. That's what I want. And they, I think, initially were a little bit, intimidated by the nature of this project. And they've said that they were kind of the ones to play it like a little more conservative. And Luca was like, no, we need to go harder. And this soundtrack truly does go hard. I think the phrase go hard was really invented for this music and how forward it is in the film. Like, you can't really imagine the tennis scenes, the sex scenes, the tension without this pure shot of adrenaline music that they've put together. It's not the same film without it, like on a Jaws level.
Yeah. It is. It's mixed so loud.
Yeah.
It's so loud, guys. It's so loud. It's louder than me.
Yeah, the perfect word to describe it in the movie is pulsing. It's this pulsing, throbbing score.
Yes.
So it is a Reznor Ross score, as Nicole just mentioned. This is one of 4 collaborations that they've done with Guadagnino. The first one being Bones and All. So they're not new to Luca, but this is definitely
true to Luca.
This is definitely a different sort of Luca movie than Call Me by Your Name.
Well, yeah, I was gonna ask you guys, do you have like a history with Luca movies? Do you like Luca movies?
I think I've only seen Call Me by Your Name.
That's all I've seen as
okay.
well. So apologies for not being as Luca core as I know you are, Scott. But
I mean, yeah, I mean, I love that movie too. It is, yeah, in a lot of ways it's very different. It's a much slower pace, but it's also, about sex and power and dynamics and those sorts of things. So
yeah, and Guadagnino always has like really good music in his movies. So Call Me by Your Name had the Oscar-nominated song from Sufjan Stevens, Mystery of Love. Like I said, he's collaborated with Reznor and Ross 4 times. And then for Suspiria, he had Tom York do the score for that film.
Yeah, that one's cool too.
Taste,
Yeah. Yeah.
So along with the Reznor Ross score, there is also a Challenger score remix album by Boys Noise.
I have not listened to this.
It's kind of funny we're talking about it now because at Coachella, Boys Noise and 9 Inch Nails are doing a collab set.
Oh.
And they're calling it 9 Inch Noise.
9 Inch Noise.
9 Inch Noise.
Friar Tuck's 9 Inch Noise.
Yeah, we're just full of wordplay today.
But yeah, it's interesting actually because Reznor and Ross approached Boys Noise, who's a DJ, producer, he's German, about this remix album before the film score was even out. So I believe we got this remix before we even got the proper soundtrack. So that has also kind of taken on a life of its own. And you can imagine, like, it is you got to play this in the club. Like, this is club music. It's also really great workout music. Those of you that have this on your, running soundtrack, respect.
Yeah, it's good for working out and not just when you're playing tennis.
Not just when you're playing tennis. Not just when you're playing, psychosexual tennis matches.
Do either of you play tennis?
I played badminton in high school.
Define play.
Well, I don't know.
Have I attempted tennis?
Right.
Yes. Am I good
But
at tennis?
it's not like a regular
No.
thing.
It's
Yeah.
not a regular occurrence. I am not waspy enough for tennis.
I have
I'm on
a
the West
friend that
Coast.
plays tennis every week, and he even has that mechanism doohickey thing to string his racket in his office.
Wow.
Wow, that's
I should ask him
Another
if he's
level.
seen challengers.
Yeah, I am nowhere near in shape enough for tennis. So
But who is? Who
is? Well, Josh O'Connor is, I'll tell you that.
As you've said, everyone in this film is just unreal in their hotness and at peak form.
Yeah.
Peak form.
Yeah, whether it is 13 years prior or the current day.
Yes. I think they do a really good job of making them seem like teenagers in that scene.
I think they do
In that
too.
whole sequence, yeah.
And you have to give a shout to
Much
in
better
the
than Dewey
flashback
Cox.
sequence. Yes, much better. Well, it's not just or Stranger Things, for example, right? Where
Right,
there's kind of
yeah.
dressing them in oversized clothes and really juvenile haircuts and hoping for the best. I think you do buy that it's 2006 and they are significantly younger. It's really well acted as
Yeah.
well. So they credit to everyone in the cast for pulling it off. But I think you also have to give a lot of credit to Tashi's dress and Nellie's hot in here
Yes.
for letting you know this is we're in the early 2000s now. I think there's no
Yes.
better song than Nellie's Hot in Here to really give you that.
And what's crazy is I can't remember if it was an interview with Zendaya or with Luca or a combination of them, but when they filmed on set, that was not the song. And either through rights issues or just Luca changing his mind, they changed the song. So Zendaya was sort of like, I really wish, like, I don't look like I'm dancing even remotely on beat to this song. Like, that's not how I would have danced to this song.
That must be frustrating to see yourself on film and know that you've danced to a temp track or to something
Right.
completely
Like
different
yeah.
to nothing at all, because that happens a lot on set,
Yeah.
right? Where you're just kind of like, I don't know, move your body like this.
Yeah.
We've all seen those prom scenes in movies where you can tell people
Absolutely.
are just, they're all dancing to a different beat.
Well, that's why John Hughes in Pretty in Pink, he was like, they were using Don't You Forget About Me. And then when he went back to OMD, because he didn't like the first song that they wrote, he's like, it needs to be to the same
The
tempo
same tempo, yeah.
as Don't You Forget About Me, because that's what they're dancing to in the prom.
Wow. Yeah, see, that's the difference when you have a director like that who is really into music, who like knows this matters, you know?
But I think what's really nice about Hot in Here is that it's something that we've probably all danced to at
Yeah.
one point in our lives if you're in a certain age bracket. And I don't think anybody was really dancing to that in a way that made sense. So,
You would
um,
need a lot more grinding.
Yeah.
But it was, if I'm remembering her scene in it appropriately, it's just, some hip wriggling and some hands in the air. And for me,
Yeah.
that made sense.
And they're
So,
all like awkward teens anyway.
Yes.
And there's
yeah.
like parents around,
Yes.
so you can't
Yeah,
really
yeah,
get
yeah.
down to it.
right, you're not getting too low
Right.
at the Adidas Youth Tennis Stars event
Yeah.
in 2006.
Yeah, I remember you saying that there was that they needle dropped this song in the film, Scott.
Yeah.
And I was thinking it was going to be like a much raunchier scene
Oh,
because
yeah.
of,
True.
what you see in the trailers for Challengers. And I was like, oh, they're using Hot in Here in this movie? Like
You know what? You're right.
What am I gonna see?
Yeah, weirdly enough, Hot in Here is kind of it's kind of the most tepid maybe moment. It's pretty tame
Yeah.
in comparison
Well,
to other things that happen.
We could talk about the song that is used in the Not Tame scene, which is
let's.
Uncle Ace, the Blood Orange song,
Yeah, let's.
which plays while they are, as teens having their first sort of 3-directional encounter.
That moment, I think, is what took on kind of a meme life of its own after the film was released. So if you knew nothing else about this movie, you knew about the threesome. That isn't really a threesome,
Right.
actually, because nothing actually happens, because it's less about sex and more about power. The original scripting of that scene is she makes them kiss and then leaves,
Yeah.
which is another thing to think about, right? When you think about the dynamics of these characters.
Right. I mean, that is sort of still what she does.
It is ultimately where it leads.
Yeah.
But she kind of tricks them.
Right. I think
Does
she reveals them.
she reveals them.
That scene is so interesting because when earlier, she's sort of jokingly or not so jokingly, she's like, well, what about you two? Like implying like, has anything happened between you two?
And I don't want to be a homewrecker.
Yeah, and Mike Feist's character is immediately like, oh no, of course not. But then you see Josh's face and he's sort of like, well, there was that one time, and it's just,
Actually,
I think that's so instructive of like their dynamic through the rest of the film. And you do get a small glimpse into Patrick's sexuality. We have the scene of him on Tinder and he's swiping and he like, a guy's profile comes up and he like hesitates for a second. He's like, yeah, I'll swipe right on that guy too.
Yeah, I saw Q&A somewhere with one of the producers from the film where it's sort of like, okay, is Patrick, canonically bisexual and he likes both men and women? The Tender swipe seems
Yeah.
to indicate that very clearly to me, but they were very cagey about it, like, well, maybe he just needs a place to sleep because
Right.
he's down
Right.
on his luck and he's not really interested in anyone. I'm like, sure, but
But he would.
you gotta set those, preferences.
Well,
So
as I on those apps, sometimes that just happens though. We're dealing with algorithms. So it does happen where like a guy's profile will come up or whatever. And so I don't know. But I think the one time in the hotel room with his friend was not the only time Patrick made out with a guy.
yes. I came away with the same distinct feeling.
Yeah. Whether he would identify himself as bisexual or not.
Well, he's definitely bi for art.
Yes.
He will definitely make an exception for art, and I think that is very clear. I think when they're playing doubles and he's like, "Oh, let me win tomorrow," and he's like, "Okay," and he's like, "Why?" And he's like, "'Cause." Like, you definitely get like
Yeah.
he is okay with he is willing to be more than best friends.
Yeah. God, yeah, this is such a, there are a lot of love triangle movies or movies that are described as love triangles, but it's really like two people competing for one person. And this is really a triangle movie
Correct.
where, they all have affections for each other in different ways. And for Tashi, right, her whole thing is like, actually, I just want to see these two. And like, as she says, I just want to see some good fucking tennis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good fucking
and
tennis.
Yes.
yeah. Yeah, because so much of it is about, power dynamics rather than it really being about love, right? I mean,
Mhm.
I guess that's kind of like one of the things to talk about here with this movie. I want to know who you think is truly at fault for Tashi's knee injury.
Tashi.
Oh.
Let's get into it. Who do you think is really at fault for that knee injury? And do you think it's fair that Patrick has to take the blame and be exiled for this moment?
No.
Wow. I no, I mean it's her fault. I mean, injuries happen, but it's her fault. She was losing focus because she was mad, and she was mad at Patrick for really like that fight was her fault too. So
She's a real piece of work.
because she was trying to stir him up for whatever sexual energy she wanted to get out of it. And he was like, hold on, now you're just being mean. And then they had a fight. And frankly, like, Patrick, I'm not trying to defend all of his actions throughout the whole film, but in that scene, he is like making good points. He's like, hey, like, we're dating, we are peers. You don't have to talk to me like I'm a child.
Patrick's making good points throughout the movie,
Yeah.
if you ask me.
Yeah. And so, yeah, he, whatever, is it immature to like huff off and say, I'm not even going to show up to your game? Sure, a little bit, but like she lets it get to her in a way that allows her to get injured.
Yeah, and I think there's an argument to be made, maybe, that if you're blaming somebody for the genesis of this fight that precedes her knee injury, do you blame Art? Because Art is the
Well,
one in both of their ears, telling both of them that, hey, she's not serious about you and doesn't love you. He's cheating on you on the road. It's kind of the
yeah,
first time that you see him be manipulative.
that's true.
But I'm your friend and I care about you.
Right.
Yes.
And I love, you mentioned the churros. I love Patrick's reaction to that scene when he sees what Art is doing and he's not even mad. He's not letting it in the moment get under his skin. He's just like, wow, like, I'm so proud of you. Like, you're being manipulative. You're being a snake. But of course, I do think you're right. I think the following scene where he ends up having a fight with Tashi, you see that it kind of did get under his skin.
Right. Right.
Wow, that is interesting. Yeah.
And you can kind of see them both replaying, like, maybe
Right.
there is something to this. And then by the time that you get to Art, comforting Tashi on the table after she's busted her knee, it's like, well, it's quite over for Patrick. And it's quite unfair.
Yeah. But at the same time, like, was that ever going to be a good relationship between Tashi and Patrick,
Well, is Art and Tasha's relationship any good either?
No, certainly. But
Yeah, is anybody's relationship a good relationship in this film, or a good, even a good like idea of a relationship? Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe
yeah,
none of them are capable. I don't want to skip too quickly to the
sure.
ending
The
and to
ending, yeah.
the climax, and also the part of the score that accompanies that. But
Yeah.
we will
Sorry, I
save
guess we,
that.
we have been
We will
jumping
save
around a
that.
lot. I don't know if,
So let's pivot to this. So after this movie came out, a screenwriter that I know gave me this hot take, and I have not been able to get it out of my head because I think it doesn't hold any water. But Justin Kretzky's is married to Celine Song, who wrote and directed Past Lives.
sure did.
And the hot take was that Challengers is a response to Past Lives.
Yes. I'm fully on board with this. I do think they were sort of maybe writing them at the same time, but I think it's hard to look at both movies and frankly Materialist, Celine Song's second film, which is also about this kind of triangle. You got to wonder, like, is there the third person out there with a screenplay? Like, I really want to know what's going on in their relationship. And also, like, I don't want to claim that I know Celine Song or Justin Kurtzky's or what the internal machinations of their relationship are, but I get the sense that it's maybe not like the most traditional heteronormative monogamous relationship. You know?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think love triangles is just their kink.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a Greta Gerwig, Noah Baumbach type of situation as well. Like, I feel like there are just certain filmmakers or, power couples whose work speaks to each other, informs, what the other one's doing, and you can speculate as to how much of that is true to their real life, but you're never actually probably gonna know.
Yeah.
But, it's safe to say it's probably a very interesting household.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, you can imagine if they met at like this writing retreat thing that, is portrayed in Past Lives. Do you think they just were like, this retreat would be even better if there was a third person here?
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I saw Justin Kurtzky's do a Q&A after one of the screenings when I saw the movie. And he was talking about the genesis of it really being tennis. Like, he got into tennis during the pandemic and found it just so fascinating as a spectator. And in particular, he was talking about a moment, and I don't know anything about tennis, so I don't remember the actual athletes involved. But he was talking about how, like, the athlete's partner, his wife, in the stands, watching and reacting the same way that we see Tashi in this movie. And he was sort of like, oh, like, that's so interesting. And then find out, like, it was a similar kind of backstory where she was a player, she had an injury, and now, and just thinking about that dynamic of like, wow, what must that be like to be watching, you can't play yourself. You can't know everything that's going on the court between the two players, but you're involved somehow and all that kind of dynamic. So it is an interesting genesis of it.
I mean, there's so much intensity just in that and in the sort of tennis of it all. I'm also not, an enormous tennis fan, nor do I play. So I'm probably like totally out of pocket with these assessments. But it's a really already kind of like psychologically painful one-on-one type of battle. And so to add in this, love triangle that is incredibly complicated, to add in Tashi's injury and how it impacts her choices is really crazy. And the score, I think, is also like, it makes that tension, right? Again, like, I can't imagine it feeling as quick and exciting and nerve-wracking without it. When you watch these scenes of them actually playing, it's like you really do feel tense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I haven't been able to get it out of my head that it reminds me of Marty Supreme, which also has like a very kind of pulsing score. This Marty Supreme was scored by Daniel Lopatin, aka One O Tricks Point Never, who's also friends with Trent Reznor. But it has a similar feel where, like, tennis is an exciting sport, but it's not an exciting sport on screen, like if you were to make a movie about it. So the music kind of helps ramp up how intense it is. Kind of like Lopatin's score does that for table tennis in Marty Supreme.
It's a great comparison. And I think both sports can sometimes be seen as a little bit laid back, a little bit, boring almost. And I think this score is really responsible for making tennis a cool aesthetic for at least a year.
Yeah.
Again, like without it, you don't have that cultural impact in that moment. Atticus Ross has said that, dance music here is really, it's a vessel to hide things in. And in his mind, each of these tracks in the score has beats that are fighting each other.
Oh, yeah.
So Patrick and Tashi's theme is built off of that battle. And in that final match, what you see is all those themes, you hear all those themes come together and kind of clash. So it's experimental, but it's also kind of traditional in that the themes build on each other. And it is really well considered. So again, like having listened to it outside of the context of the film, it's not something that you get, but then you watch it and you're like, okay, I hear these intentional beats.
Yeah. No, that's really interesting. I think too, thinking about like sports movies in general or sports in general, you're talking about like tennis as a spectator can be a little boring. I find, because the only real sport I follow is soccer. I was just mentioning to you guys that I'm going to be going to the World Cup, or seeing a game. I'm not playing, going to a game at the World Cup, and that's a sport that I think a lot of people say is like totally boring to watch. But I think like anything, you as a spectator need to like have an inside information about the tactical stuff, the strategic stuff, and the individual, the players, the dynamic between the teams, all that sort of stuff. And so for a real sports fan, like a real tennis fan, they would say, what are you talking about? Like, tennis is the most exciting sport in the world, right? But you have to bring all that knowledge to it to see what's exciting about it. And so as a spectator of a movie, right, like oftentimes a movie needs to find a way in for you as a viewer, even if you don't have all that knowledge about the sport, right? So in this movie, they're replacing the knowledge of, the tactical side of tennis with this interpersonal dynamic that And I think that's a really interesting way where when we get to that final set, every single moment feels so important to us, as if we know all this stuff about tennis, even though I don't know anything about tennis. But like when they say deuce or what, like I have no idea what they're talking about, but I know like the emotional stakes of every serve that happens in that scene.
That's a great point. No, that's a really wonderful point. It's really interesting the way that they pull that off for non-tennis fanatics.
Yeah.
The genesis of this movie, Luca has said, is a game that he saw with Serena Williams where she gets a violation for coaching off court.
Oh, okay.
And he was like, I didn't know that was a thing. And so it's interesting that he kind of caught on to that as like, hey, this is actually, it's kind of like operatic and dramatic, shit that happens on court. What if I were to make this a sprawling, decade-long psychosexual drama with the hottest people you've ever seen?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know enough about tennis to know that the stakes of what they're playing for, at least what art is playing for, is not important.
Right.
Like for Patrick, it's like a way into the qualifying tournament for the US Open. For Art, this is just like him just trying to get his game back.
Right. But emotionally, that makes it even harder for him, because it's like, well, if I can't win this, because he's coming back from injury, he's like trying to get his game back. And like, this is like a quicksand thing. Like, if I lose to this guy at this Phil's Tire Town Challenger, then like, what am I doing,
Right. And that's why Tashi asks Patrick to throw the game. And,
right.
That's why there's all this drama built in. But on the surface of it, it's like, this is not a big deal.
Exactly. Yeah. And I love the framing of starting the film with the match at the end, and we're sort of like going back, because it is like that opening. At that point, we don't have any of the stakes. We don't know who they are. And it looks cool. I mean, the visuals in this film are amazing.
Beautiful, yeah.
I watched like on the OLED TV, like, geez, it's unbelievable. But like, you know, we don't really know what's going on. And then as we keep flashing back, we're like adding more and more layers to this, to the point where, you know, you get that moment of Patrick putting the ball in the crook of the racket and you're like, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, never has something so subtle been so drenched in like meaning. It's like, whoa.
Amazing. And so subtle that Tashi doesn't, like Tashi, who knows both of these guys, who coaches Art, like knows that that's how he serves. Surely she knows, and she knows that Patrick has his weird other like behind the back serve thing. So like, but even she in that moment doesn't catch what happens. You know, it's just the two of them.
It's a great tour de force kind of like reaction, the series of reactions from her as she's trying to put together what the hell is going on, which is really wonderful. Speaking of that climactic match, so what we see before that is that moment in the, you know, crazy wind where, you know, Tashi, which again, I don't know how you're, just to take a brief moment for this, how are we getting sexy in that wind, y'all? Like, I mean, never have two people been able to successfully be hot in that kind of wind. Like, nobody's hair is stuck to their face. Like, somehow the wind is on their side.
Right. Have you not seen Twisters?
That's a good point.
Okay, maybe Twisters is the other example, but really I'm like, this is some cinematic goddamn wind.
Yeah.
But they cheat with each other, you know, in the scene before the match, whatever. The wind is on their side. There are some classical pieces that accompany that moment. And I'm curious, Scott, how you felt about the fit of those classical pieces. Because they are kind of a deviation.
Classical needle drop.
Yeah, right? So, and they almost surprised me. I'm like, okay, this is an Italian director.
Absolutely. So it happens, it's a piece, Benjamin Britten, who's a British composer. It's a choir piece that he wrote for like a prep school kind of thing. So it's like a simple choir piece. The set of pieces is called Friday Afternoons. This particular song is called A New Year Carol, which is based off a sort of Welsh poem. And like, I have no idea why this like in terms of like finding some sort of extra music, like extra textual like connection or something, like I have no idea what brought this to Luca or why this choice is made. I really like it. I think it's effective every time because it's so far removed from the rest of the sound of the score. But like, yeah, I can't figure out the choice of like, instead of just having Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor do some sort of, you know, underscoring, to use this like children's choir piece. It's so interesting. I have no idea.
It's weird. And I've thought about it as well. And I wish I had a definitive answer in a way. And the only thing that I can speculate on is somehow her relationship with Patrick is the one that is more real. Somehow it's not, you don't get the Atticus Ross score at Ross and, you know, Reznor score, maybe because they're not battling,
right?
But they're just kind of giving in. I don't know.
Like one of the other
That's
times,
not true.
One of the other times you see it is when she like sits down at a tree by herself after her injury, and she's sort of realizing like, oh, I'm not going to be able to recover from this. Like, this is actually the end of my career. And that's an interesting moment too, that like, it doesn't have anything to do with her relationship with either of the boys. So yeah, I don't know.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
It is interesting.
And I mean, I do want to kind of give a moment to I think this soundtrack was criminally overlooked when it came to awards. The movie itself was overlooked when it came to awards, which feels really crazy because it was so zeitgeisty and such a big deal and is such a wonderful piece of filmmaking. It did not get nominated in the Oscars.
For anything.
It did win 2 Golden Globes, so for Best Score and Best Original Song for Compress Repress, and a Grammy as well. So it was in contention, but for whatever reason, the Oscars snubbed challengers. Why do
So
we think
weird.
they snubbed challengers?
I
Scott, I
don't
want your
know.
take.
I
Is it just the
out
Academy being stupid? Like, what's
I
going
think
on?
so. Yeah. I mean, so outside of score, because I think people were like hoping, Josh O'Connor might be able to sneak in, Zendaya might be able to sneak in, the script might be able to, there was like some buzz around that. And I always sort of thought like, I think the Academy is just, this isn't their kind of movie. It came out early in the year. It was zeitgeisty, but it wasn't like a massive hit like,
Like
when
Barbie.
Oppenheimer came out in the summer or whatever, or even like Everything Everywhere All at Once came out in March, but it kind of continued its run the whole year. Like it wasn't that popular. So I sort of wasn't completely surprised that it didn't get into those categories. Score truly made no sense. It won the Golden Globe. Atticus and or Ross and Reznor have won Oscars before, so it was
Right.
like I have no idea. I mean, I guess they just feel like, oh, it's techno bullshit. I don't know.
Really strange to me. It feels like a massive snub for something that is so successful, memorable, really kind of watershed in how you would score a film.
Yeah.
It's very important, and I don't know why they overlooked it, but hey, that's the Academy for you.
When they overlooked it, I think I made the joke that this snub like inspired Trent Reznor to go back on the road with Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah.
Like, fuck this shit. I'm gonna go do my rock thing again.
Yeah. I mean, the scores that did get nominated is Conclave, Amelia Perez, Wicked, which the
It's not
rules
even a
of how that
score.
even qualified. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
what?
Wild Robot, which was pretty good, and then the Brutalist won. And I don't even like have a problem with the Brutalist winning, but for them to not get nominated is like crazy.
Yeah, and they're gonna look back on Amelia Perez getting nominated for anything as like, oh, what were we
Oh,
doing
yeah.
moment.
Yeah, embarrassing.
When are we doing that on this podcast?
When are we doing it on your podcast?
Yeah, well,
When I can endure the pain.
When Netflix
God.
says I can watch it at 2.5 speed.
oh god.
Rude.
Aren't they implementing that? Where you can watch things at like 1.5 speed like a podcast?
I hope not. I think you can though, right? On Netflix? I don't know. I've never tried because
I mean, Amelia Perez would be the one to try it on.
yeah.
All right. Well, I think this might be a good time to talk about Challenger's Match Point, which is the track that you hear over this final climactic scene, which is the craziest scene. It's just so crazy, both in how it's how it plays out, how it unfolds, and how it ends.
Yeah.
Scott, what's your take on
Well,
this
I guess
Match Point scene?
to start with the camera stuff, because we get a couple different things going on here, which is, we get the camera as tennis ball part, where the camera is flying back and forth as if it is the ball itself, which is kind of amazing. We also get the under the court, under like
Yes.
the glass court, which is such a cool shot.
Very cool.
And then also just like the regular amount of exciting like cutting between them. And another thing that I really like is a couple times through the movie we see Tashi in the stands, and it's sort of replicating the scene from Strangers on a Train, the Hitchcock movie, the tennis scene where like the one guy in the middle is not moving his head and everyone else is moving their heads back and forth. So we get a little of that. So I really like that. But yeah, I mean, then the music, I don't know, it's just incredible.
It is incredible, and the tensions that play out, right, where Patrick is trying to initially throw the match. There's realizations happening from all three of them, right? And then eventually it climaxes with Art, doing this serve over the net, and then he and Patrick end up falling together in this embrace, and Tashi screams, "Come on."
I'm getting
And then
chills
it cuts
with you
to black.
describing it.
It's like
Yeah.
it's just a real wow fucking doozy of a climax. And it really leads you to wonder what the hell is next for these people.
I know. Well,
You
because
know?
the whole movie, Tashi is saying, I just want to see some good fucking tennis. And it starts
And then
when
she does.
When she's on the rock and she's talking to them and she's like describing how tennis is this relationship. And there was like this brief moment where in my game we had that rhythm. And then she tells them during the sort of pseudo threesome scene, like, that's what I want to see you guys do. And then she spends 13 years trying to get back to that moment of like, these two guys, they need this and I need it to see it. And she gets it. And like, I love how you don't even really understand what happens in that moment. Like, is that art winning or is it a fault? Like, I don't know enough about tennis. Like it's ambiguous, but to them, it doesn't matter. Cause now the match point doesn't matter. What matters is like the two of them connecting in this way through tennis. And then I don't know, maybe they all fall in love.
Yeah. And to bring up your point from, earlier in the episode where Art says something, Patrick initially brushes it off, and then you see it bug him during the sex scene. This has kind of the reverse effect, right? So
yeah.
So you have the little tell with the serve, which is he's saying, I fucked your wife.
Right.
And then you see Art mad, right? He like lets Patrick just ace him out for like a couple points because he's just steaming. But then it's like he decides to like let it all go.
Yeah. Well, he gets in the flow. He gets in the zone. But yeah, because like you were saying, Nicole, like the plan Patrick, I think, was going to go along with to throw the game. And you can kind of see, and I love how it's all done in this incredibly slow motion. This whole sequence is dragged out.
It is. It's so dragged out.
But you
in
see
a good way.
In such a good way, yeah.
Complimentary.
And the sweat, you see the beads of sweat. It's like, oh. But you see this look on Patrick's face where he's essentially like, okay, it's the end of the match. I'm gonna throw it. Do I tell him or do I not tell him? And he decides like, let me be a little stinker. And he puts the ball in the racket, which is his cue to Art that like, hey, I fucked your wife. And then Art is like so pissed. And now Patrick is like, okay, well now I'm not throwing the game. Now we're doing it, which I love.
Yeah. And it all plays out with just the score, right?
Yeah.
There's the real dialogue, right? A little bit of sound design and the score, and that's it. And you follow it without them having to say anything, which is a really incredible choice.
Mm-hmm.
There really isn't a lot said. It's all very like ambient. But it's a great moment because it feels like the moment in the movie where everybody finally gets what they want.
Yeah.
Tashi gets her good fucking tennis. Patrick gets Art back.
Yeah.
They're all kind of in the moment together. And that probably can't last. Like, there is no alternate ending where they become like a super happy poly cup, like, throuple.
Look, I've read some fanfic. I could tell you. It's out there.
I mean, I'm sure.
I would not throw out any possibilities with this film.
Yeah. But also, can you imagine let's say you're like a waspy tennis fan who lives in New Rochelle, and you always like, you do, sometimes you could get tickets to the Open, but mostly you like to go to your local challenger and see, what the local guys are playing or whatever. And you show up and these two guys who you kind of remember, 13 years ago, these guys won the teen US Open doubles match. And now one of them is like an extremely, extremely famous tennis player. One of them is just like a guy knocking around in the lower leagues. And now they're playing each other at my local like challenger. And then you see this match and like, that must be the coolest shit ever.
Oh, I also
Absolutely.
like the small detail that like the lady running this tournament was like the line judge
Was
when
there.
they were
And they show her. They show her in the flashback too, which is very cool.
Yeah.
It's a nice little bit of continuity. I also really love, the details in this film are great, and really well considered. I love that Patrick is so down hard with money that he has to take half of her Dunkin' Donuts bagel sandwich.
I don't believe that she would give that to him.
No.
Really? No? What do you guys like?
I feel like maybe it's so awkward that she sort of like has to. Because he has, and it's like
he's so pathetic in that scene. He's just like staring at it.
Yeah, it's quite sad. If you love pathetic rat-faced boys, boy, is this the film for you.
But what's crazy is he is not actually down on it. He comes from money. He could get money if he wants. And
It's
Tashi tells him
pride.
that, like, go call your
Yeah.
dad. Like, just ask for money. Who cares? But he
Right.
is, like, so dedicated to, like, cosplaying the struggle or whatever.
Yeah, it's very Pulp's Common People.
Yes.
It is
It's
very
like, oh, I'm
that.
gonna sleep
I
in
am
my
the struggling
car.
artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the moment when you see him driving to that parking lot, you hear the you hear the talk radio. He's listening to like conservative talk radio talking about throwback, the Hillary Clinton fusion GPS voting system conspiracy theory.
What?
I don't
did
know if
not
you
catch
caught
that.
that.
I did not
I
catch
did.
that. I'm sorry.
But so he's this, because he's like a rich kid. He's like, yeah. So he's listening to some like conspiracy theory right-wing radio.
A great detail. And I'm
Yes.
fascinated by the use of food in this movie, not only because so much of it is phallic, from the banana that Patrick is kind of taunting him by eating
Yes.
during the Challenger, but like the very prolonged scene with the 2 churros at Stanford, where there's like a bite taken out of a churro. I have to talk about the churro scene to someone. Who else am I
Okay,
going to tell
so
this to,
I'm
guys?
I'm pretty sure this was from when I saw Justin Kuritsky's. It may have been a different interview, but it was not written to be churros. It was like
Right.
not written to be anything. They just showed up to film that day, and like the food court had like that's all they had,
What?
which is so unbelievable. Frankly, like I actually kind of think maybe they're lying to us because the churro is so perfect and so phallic, and it's so integral to that scene. Like, what would they have done otherwise? I don't even know.
What else would they be eating? Ice
Yeah.
cream cones?
Right.
Donuts?
Hot dogs.
Hot dogs.
Well, they do eat hot dogs earlier in the flashback at the U.S. Open. They're eating
Yeah,
hot
because
dogs,
they're
yeah.
always eating a phallic food. And so
Right.
had it not been churros, I think
Yeah.
that really would have been a miss.
And of course, the moment where you see Patrick slide the stool closer to him for art, like that is
Which is crazy.
amazing moment. Yeah. Luca is very good at like those
Crazy.
insert shots of like little details like that. Like After the Hunt, which is the film that came out last year that most people didn't like, I really enjoyed. He does a lot of that with like looking at characters' hands, and it's like always very interesting what characters are doing with their hands during conversations. So I like that. I mean the stool is just so romantic.
The stool is crazy. That has its own fan base, I think, that
Absolutely.
scene.
Yeah. The other piece of score that we haven't really talked about, because obviously all the techno pieces are kind of different. There's the Yeah times 10, which I love, but they're all like kind of in the same mode. The other mode that we get is the kind of aquatic, like mysterious theme that we first hear when Tashi's on the rocks talking to them, and then it comes back a couple other times where it's this kind of like bubbling, like up and down piano arpeggio thing. That I think that is a pretty cool sound too.
It is. And I think that, Reznor and Ross are more known for things that are a little more aggressive, more techno, more industrial in, the method of what they usually do. But they just have such great sensibilities musically. And they do have actually quite a lot of range. I'm a huge fan of the score from the movie Soul, which is not
Yeah.
a Pixar film that most people are shooters for. But I actually really love that film. And I
Yeah.
think
Well,
80%
that they
of the
did win the
reason I
Oscar
do.
for.
They did win the Oscar for, and you know what? Deserved. I think the Disney Association must have really, really helped them,
Yeah.
there.
Why they didn't get nominated for
Um,
Tron?
That Disney
Well,
lobby. Well,
yeah.
nobody's getting nominated for Tron,
Yeah.
Ever.
All right, let's be real. If your gut is off, everything feels off. Your digestion, energy, mood, even focus, it all starts in your gut. Every day, your gut is fighting a silent war against processed foods, stress, and even toxins in the air. And when your gut struggles, your whole body feels it. That's why I trust Just Thrive Probiotic. Most probiotics never make it to your gut alive, and that's why they don't work. But Just Thrive is clinically proven to arrive 100% alive and deliver measurable results. And it does something no other probiotic can. It turns your gut into an antioxidant factory, creating protective compounds exactly where you need them most. For you, that means better digestion, health immunity, more energy, and easy weight management. Just Thrive Probiotic comes in capsules or berry-flavored gummies, so there's an option for everyone in the family. For over a decade, Just Thrive has been helping thousands of people take control of their health with science-backed solutions you can trust. From their award-winning probiotic to their full line of gut, immune, and brain health supplements, Just Thrive is ready to help you live your healthiest life. So here's my challenge. Try Just Thrive Probiotic for 90 days risk-free and save 20% on your first order with code CX. See the difference for yourself or get a full product refund. No questions asked. Take the 90-day Just Thrive Probiotic Challenge today at justthrivehealth.com/CX. Be the best you with Just Thrive. So, Scott, I forgot to send you the prompt, but do you want to play our Life in 3 Tracks game?
Oh, yeah.
And you don't have to, it's optional because we didn't send you the prompt. And so I know it's kind of like you got to think on the fly.
I'll try my best.
Yeah. Okay. I think you're going to be good at this because this is your wheelhouse. This is your domain, Scott.
Uh-oh. Now I'm nervous, actually, but okay.
No,
let's do it.
don't be nervous. So we like to play a little game here at Soundtrack Your Life called Your Life in 3 Tracks. And we like to ask our guests, if your life were a movie, what songs would you choose to soundtrack it? And so we have 3 made-up scenes. They can be in your head, whatever you want them to be. Romance scene, an action scene, and some kind of montage. So first we'll start with maybe the easiest of the 3, I think, is, Scott, what do you see for your movie's action scene?
Oh, action scene. Okay, I was all prepared for a romance scene. An action scene.
Well, if you want to start with romance, we can start with romance.
Sure. Let it sail.
No. I'll stick to the prompt. I'll pull up something here. And I feel like it can be fun when an action scene has a sort of juxtaposition with a different sort of song, like not a high tempo actiony song. So I'm thinking of something like softer and more ironic for my action scene. And I am vamping a little bit to sort of think what that is.
Buy yourself time, Scott. It's okay.
This is a silly one, but because we don't know the plot of this movie, it could take place at any point in my life, I guess.
Yes, absolutely.
And the action scene could be doing anything. But what if it was Teenage Dream by Katy Perry?
All right.
I love it. Okay, wait. What's happening while Teenage Dream?
I think, maybe there was like some sort of, I was with the wrong guy's girlfriend or something like that. I'm being chased away or something. But what I like about it, other than the sort of juxtaposition, it's a little bit, not what you would expect. But yet still, that chorus has a kind of very rhythmic vocal thing, with the T, D, D. So I feel like you could get some hits on that. You could get some stuff. It feels like maybe we're on a beach. It's sunny. It's something. I don't know. Maybe
I can imagine
with
you
more
taking
time,
out.
I could probably have a better answer.
No, but you're right about the beats of that song. I can imagine you taking out a bunch of adversaries on the beach to Teenage Dream. I think that would be super fun. I love that vision. Okay, so what is your romance track?
Well, the romance, what I was going to say is Don't Worry Baby by the Beach Boys.
Beautiful.
That's one of my favorite songs of all time. I think as a love song is very interesting because it sort of plays with gender and stereotypes in an interesting way, and just a beautiful song. So, and it's still relatively recent, so rest in peace, Brian Wilson. But yeah, Don't Worry Baby.
Beautiful. I love that choice. And then lastly, what do you see for your montage? And this can be an action montage, your training. It can be a shopping montage, any kind of montage.
Yeah, because
want.
The obvious one is like a You Make My Dreams Come True by Hall & Oates, but that's too obvious. But okay, what about Pacific Coast Party by Smash Mouth? Are you familiar with this?
I don't know that song.
I don't know
This
that
is
song.
like
But I like that you're going with like
Sing
this
it.
beach theme with all your
Yeah, I
songs.
do. I do too. Like, this is a real movie now. Scott, you have to sing it. Can you sing it like a few? How's it go?
You know, Pacific Coast Party. It's got like kind of a disco-y beat to it. It's like the single that they put out maybe one single past their relevancy, you know? It's like right on the tail end of it. But honestly, it's a bop. And yeah, I think it would be fun for like, you know, beachy shopping, summer montage kind of vibe.
Before you beat everybody up to Katy Perry.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that. Wow. Thank you so much for bringing us a Smash Mouth deep cut. I adore that.
Only Scott.
Only Scott would do that, and this is why we love to have you on
Again,
the show.
like if you had prompted me earlier, I maybe would have thought for some better ones, but I feel
thank you
good
for
about it.
playing. Thank you
feel
for
good about
playing Life in 3 Tracks. I think those are incredible choices.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm seeing the movie. I'm in line.
Wow.
Yeah, and I hope that action scene is like grotesque, like old boy style.
It would have to be, yeah.
Well, thank you, Scott, so much for returning to our podcast.
This was so much fun, and I feel like we didn't even scratch the surface. I could talk about this movie all day, but I'm glad to have the opportunity to talk about it with you guys. And the soundtrack, I mean, everyone just go throw it on. Can I air one grievance, though?
Yes.
Of course.
Sometimes movie soundtracks incorporate some sort of audio from the movie itself, and I usually find that to be distracting. And this movie in particular, that opening track, which is called Challengers, happens and then ends with the iPhone alarm bell, because that's what happens in the movie, because it cuts to Art waking up from his alarm. We don't need that on the soundtrack, guys. Please. I would listen to this song all the time if it didn't have that, but it's very triggering to get the alarm sound at the end of this track.
Yeah, to those of us that have complicated relationships with our iPhone alarms, maybe
Yes.
no. Yeah, I get that. That's fair.
And like it prevents me from just banging it in the club. Like if I was a DJ, you know, I have to make an edit with a different ending. That's why actually I should listen to the remix album, because
Maybe Boys Noise has cut it out for you.
Yeah.
I was going to say either they cut it out or they have it just like repeated. There's probably no in between. So
I will check that out. But yeah.
It'll be every fourth beat. It'll be the iPhone alarm.
Yeah. But then at least it's something, yeah. But yeah, no, thank you so much. This was a ton of fun, and I can't wait to come back and chat about something else.
Yeah. And so for our listeners, this is the greatest song I have ever heard in my entire life. It's still going strong.
We just started another season. We're sort of back to doing more regular, last year was a little tough for us. We are back to doing more regular interview episodes. We're doing some other fun stuff. So we're doing that. You can find it at Great Song Pod. That's GR and then the number 8 Song Pod on Instagram. That's kind of the only place we are anymore. And then Big White Elephants, which is Big White Elephants Pod, also on Instagram. We're chatting about movie musicals. Come check us out. Ryan's going to be on soon to talk about... I'll just spoil it. Who cares? You're going to come on and talk about K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yeah. We'll talk about my journey of being radicalized by K-pop.
As it happens to us all. So...
Yeah, and you can find us on Instagram as well at Soundtrack Cast. That's probably the best place to find us. We've got our Patreon as well, patreon.com/soundtrackyourlife. And we did kind of a soft launch of a merch store. There will be more details about that coming soon.
Very exciting.
But thank you again, Scott.
All right, talk soon.
Well, the holidays have come and gone once again, but if you've forgotten to get that special someone in your life a gift, well, Mint Mobile is extending their holiday offer of half off unlimited wireless. So here's the idea. You get it now, you call it an early present for next year. What do you have to lose? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Limited time 50% off regular price for new customers. Upfront payment required. $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds may slow after 50 gigabytes per month when network is busy. See terms.